The court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Quadruple save? I got you. Save. Alright, we're good. Emma didn't come back. Allow me to call the next witness to the stand. The officer in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime. There he is. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Me, partner? Oh, I'm just a man, same as you, wandering the trails of civilization. Occasionally helping the elderly cross intersections when needed. Yes, we get it. Oh, I know. You're a patrolman. As for my name, if you listen hard enough, you can hear the howling wind call it out. To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor. Howling wind? I've never heard Edgeworth described that way before. Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. You were in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day the crime took place. Is this correct? According to the papers, partner. What do you mean? A desperado's soul is as boundless as the desert sands. No paper can sum it up. Maybe it's best we get on with this quickly. Please share with us your testimony of the day of the crime. In plain old English. He's just like me for real. Felt. Day of the crime. My job was to keep a wary eye on that bone orchard. They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyway. If I remember right, I was at a street-side saloon at the time it went down. I'm just an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time I hit the trail. I can't say I particularly care for your attitude. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Dang, so mean! Wait a minute. What do you mean by 2 security systems? I mean the security cameras and the ID card reader. I reckon even a cowpoke like you knows about those. Cook Marshall, he's cooking. Is this new dialogue? It's... Like, now we're in the part where, we left off. Is that what you're asking? Yes, well, what about the fingerprint-activated locks on the evidence lockers? Fingerprint-activated locks? What kind of newfangled doohickeys are those? He's not being very helpful. We're back to where we used to be? Yeah. So this is, we're progressing now. He's not good with machines. Or with following orders. Everyone's got their weaknesses now, don't they, Mr. Prosecutor? This one seems like trouble. Okay, Mr. Wright, he's all yours. Day of the crime. We're gonna press everything because he's funny. Alright. How exactly did you keep an eye on the evidence room? I just made sure nothing moved in the security camera monitor. That room's so still. He's all ours, cracks Knuckles. No, you can't beat him up, he's probably weak. Even time dies in there. I was just a caretaker who interred the recordings. You interred them? Videos of nothing aren't that useful. When the time would come, I'd erase the tape. Nothing unusual is recorded. Tapes are to be erased every 6 hours. Each time I'd erase a tape, it felt like I was erasing a part of my life. This guy has a flair for the dramatic, but it isn't going to do him any good. So, in actuality, you don't physically enter the evidence room. But you made your rounds on the day of the crime, right? Ain't you heard a word I said, partner? I told you that ain't my style. I'm afraid I don't understand. No desperado I know lets rules get in his way. No desperados I know join the police force. So, Officer Marshall, on the day of the crime, just between you and me, I didn't set foot in the evidence room that day. There was a rubber glove stuck in the victim's locker. Do you know anything about that? Sorry, partner. Can't say I do. I haven't been in that crypt in weeks. How they let him have a knife in the courtroom? That's so true. He just walked in with it, I guess. No one can stop him. It's not his style. How does this guy avoid being fired? You used to be a detective, so you've used the evidence room in the past, correct? Of course. Back in the day, my locker was a gold mine of evidence. And yet, you didn't know about the fingerprint locking mechanism? Sorry, partner. I ain't good with machines. I couldn't even tell you how a bike works. That's quite incredible. He's dumb! The sensors on the locker handles cannot be seen. It's well known that some detectives are unaware of their presence. Now that he mentions it, Detective Gumshoe said something like that too. I also could not say how a bike works. I mean, same. Chain go around, wheels go around, right? But like, technical stuff? At any rate, it doesn't seem that this is relevant to the crime. Can you tell us what you were doing when the crime took place? What were you doing in a place like that? I was eating spaghetti. Not even Angel's steak lunches can beat that parlor's Vongola sepia pasta. Sepia pasta? Vongola sepia pasta. That... Huh. He's so mean. Do you like that kind of pasta? Is that even a real kind of pasta? I don't know. I do not eat pasta that often. Do you mean to tell us you abandoned your police duties to eat some noodles? Not all desperados eat tacos, partner. That's not what I meant. I hope this has at least taught you a lesson. That's strange. This is usually where Edgeworth says, did you not want a raise this year? Oh, squid ink Ah, I see. That's kind of bougie. Okay. Out of ammo, Officer Marshall. That's right, partner. Or as you'd call it, evidence. If you plan to pin me to this crime, then you'd better draw. Otherwise, you're just wasting my time. My steel horse is waiting to carry me back west into the sunset. One thing seems clear. Despite being responsible for guarding the evidence room, the witness doesn't appear to have seen anything. Texans don't take orders from anyone. Everyone knows that. Apparently your superiors don't. Okay, I have a trump card up my sleeve, so I'd best keep my cool. Before I use it, though, I'd better up the ante. Okay. I was supposed to make rounds. The room is protected by 2 security systems. But we talked about the locks. If I remember, I was at a street side saloon the time it went down. Present the evidence locker, it sounds about right? Oh, go back. The room is protected by 2 security systems. Nope, okay. 2 security systems. If I remember, I was at a street side saloon the time it went down. That's 5 p.m. It doesn't... Oh, okay. It's okay. Scene of the stabbing. There's blood. Okay. Tagged evidence. The print had been wiped. Video. I'm just an innocent of your okay. Maybe handprint here? Listen, I'll take your word for it if you tell me things, okay? Officer Marshall, doesn't it strike you as odd? That is, you being called in to testify like this. After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime. And yet you dragged me down here. Explain yourself, partner. It's quite simple. You left a very large trail behind at the scene. Or, to be exact, a handprint. Listen real good, partner. Like I said, I'm the caretaker of that crypt. I pay my respects. That is, make my rounds about once a month. It's only natural my fingerprints would be in there. A bloody one, though? I only wish it were, officer. But you see, your fingerprints were covered in blood. Witness, what is the meaning of this? Your blood-stained fingerprints were at the crime scene. The blood was wiped away, however. A luminol test clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall? Seems to me there ain't a person in this room with a head on his shoulders. I take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall. About the blood-stained fingerprints. Very well, you may begin your testimony about your fingerprints, found at the scene of the crime. Blood-stained fingerprints. What's your excuse, sir? Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in that evidence room. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the blood-stained handprint. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. The bloodstain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Or didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? See, I had nothing to do with it. Aha! Interesting. The witness's explanation appears valid, although there's room for doubt. Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt, partner. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. This guy's hiding something. I can feel it. Now's my chance to prove it. Alrighty. Okay. Talk about this. How do you know that? I may be a loner, but I still do my job. I keep up on the reports. There was a bloodstain at the scene, thought to be left by the murderer. My man's just pulling stuff out of thin air, and I'm here for a yeehaw, partner. He's definitely, like, I don't know if I would say convincing, but I'm willing to believe him just because of how he is. That's right. It was found on Detective Gumshoe's locker. However, no fingerprints were detected on that handprint. Oh yeah, I think we tried that too. So that would mean the murderer, wearing gloves, happened to place their hand on top of Officer Marshall's fingerprint. That's the only logical conclusion. I can't let him squirm out of this one. I've gotta find something. Something decisive to tie Officer Marshall to this crime. It's only natural for my fingerprints to be. One of them happened to be in the same place as the bloodstained handprint. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. The bloodstain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Okay. Can I prove this wrong? Is it this? Unrelated. They're as different as night and day. Kinda like cereal and cereal. One's got to do with breakfast, while the other's a type of murder. He's right. Although seemingly alike, they're totally different. I don't see what homonyms have to do with this. Okay. The chances of that happening are 1,000,000 to 1. On the contrary, one could argue just the opposite. The chances of that not happening are 1,000,000 to 1. Ooh, cereal and cereal. Totally the same. Get one thing straight, partner. You ain't gonna get no reward from me with the mere fingerprint. You wanna know why? Oh, you weren't reading, so you got really confused for a minute? I mean, yeah. When you say it out loud, they are truly the same. But when you read it, it's like, bro. Okay. The bloodstain and fingerprint. Okay. Can I? Okay. Wait. Where's the video? Okay, he is wearing gloves. It won't be the video, yeah. Just checking. I could try the map because it's like the blood stain, the wiped blood stain. Because this one was the wiped one, and then the fingerprint was there, and it matched with the handprint. Let me try this. Nope, okay. No! Didn't you know the murderer was wearing... I feel like... Okay. One of them happened to be, okay. So then, what about the bloody handprint? Wasn't mine, it's no mystery. Please explain. My locker's covered with my fingerprints. It just so happened. Okay. So he's arguing that the murderer touched his locker where his fingerprint was by chance. The bloodstain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Maybe I will try the video here just in case. Nope, okay. Ah! Alright, we take a save here. No. Fuck. Okay. Didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? The print had been wiped. No, that's not what I want. Completely unrelated. Okay, maybe I just press everything. We'll try. Wait, I'm waiting. Luminol fluid? On which one? There was blood on the handprint? Yeah, the one here was the one that was wiped, so we had to find it with luminol. I'm pretty sure. We can try. Nope, okay. Load. Okay, I'll just press this. That's because you... How did you put it? Pay your respects once a month? The one here I still can't see... Oh. It's the one on the far left. The one on the far left. Yeah, that's right. That and one more thing. That locker happens to be mine. What? What do you mean? I mean what I said. That's the locker I used when I was a detective. The locker I still use. All that's in there now, though, is a heap of broken dreams. I see. It'd be strange if my prints weren't all over that locker. Apparently his fingerprint data was never removed from that locker's programming. He must have been using the fingerprint lock all this time without ever knowing it. Aha! I did need to press. Are you starting to get the picture, partner? The picture? This seal of blood in the desert is just food for the buzzards. There's only one reality, and that's this. It took way too long, it did. I should just press everything. The security tape. So long as my trail isn't in there, you can't say otherwise. This isn't getting us anywhere, Mr. Wright. Please consider carefully where you're going with this cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. Now then, continue your testimony, Officer Marshall. Okay. Too bad it wasn't me in the video. Aha. But now do we present the video? I'm gonna try. Nope, okay. We don't present the video. Definitely didn't press him on every single word. No, not at all. Okay. I guess this one then? No? What do you want from me? It's in the video. Let me present the video. Can we go over the evidence again? Kind of forgot what we have. Yeah, okay. So this stuff in the front is probably not necessary. I think starting from like here. We have the evidence room floor plans. So the one on the far left is Marshall's locker. The one on the right is Gumshoe's, and then there's the giant bloodstain. The glove that fell out of the locker. The lockers. The vase. The fingerprints, the videos, and then the SL-9 incident files. Oh, maybe this one. Why? Why? Let me prove to you that the locker is yours, sir. I'm trying to prove that he was the one in the video, but they won't take the video, they won't take the locker, and I presented something else, but I forgot. Oh yeah, they won't take this either. It wasn't his locker that he opened in the video? Yeah, but like there's in the video, right? At the very end of the video, there's something poking out of his locker that wasn't there before. And it's like, okay. Can I fast forward this? No, I can't. Okay. We're gonna sit here and watch it. So the locker on the far left, right? The very first one, there's nothing sticking out. Nice weather, yeah. It's been warming up lately, so I like it. I don't like cold weather. Do the fight. They're fighting. Meekins is down. Okay, so now if we look at the locker on the far left, once we get there, there's the piece of cloth sticking out that wasn't there before. Why won't they let me present that? Do I press this? What do you mean by that? You want to tie me to this crime, isn't that right, partner? You haven't played it in too long, that's okay. If so, that video's the only direct evidence you have. Not objection. Yes, that's all I have, but I can do it. Give it to me. That video is next to useless. It's full of blind spots. Blind spots? Places you can't see. The camera's panning back and forth. The floor isn't shown. If someone was familiar with the camera's position, they could leave the room without being caught on tape. We don't have time for your speculations, Mr. Wright. Well, Mr. Wright, if you could show us evidence in this video that indicates Officer Marshall was present, please do so now. Finally! Very well. Allow me to point out your mistake, Officer Marshall. Blind spots, you know, spots that can't see. True. They're called blind spots because they cannot see. Tread carefully, Mr. Wright, or you might wind up being the one making the mistake. Now then, let's have another look at the video. Show us this incriminating evidence of the witness, Officer Jake Marshall. If I remember correctly, Marshall's about to make a really dumb comment. Oh, let's go. I'm ready for it. I feel like the one teacher from The Incredibles. Which teacher? Is there a teacher? Edna Mode? Is she a teacher? Bringing our attention back to the security camera is a mistake I'm afraid you'll soon not forget, Officer Marshall. The days are short in Texas, and so are our tempers. Could you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less? When Dash puts a thumbtack on the chair and he's trying to be like, he did it, you see him move! And it's like a split second. Oh. Oh my gosh, I do vaguely remember that. It's been so long. I should rewatch that movie. Very well. You can clearly be seen in this video. Exactly 8 words. Not bad, partner. The key lies in a certain locker shown in the video. That locker with the white cloth sticking out. That was the witnesses, I believe. Now then, let's rewind the video a bit. No cloth! Oh, the white cloth. It's gone. What is the meaning of this, Officer Marshall? When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away. Order, order! It would seem that the only— Hold your horses. Sorry, partner, but you got the wrong man. So what if my locker was open? That doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. Oh, he doesn't know, guys. He doesn't know. There it is. The murderer needed to hide something, so he opened a locker and stuck it in. It's not my fault he happened to choose mine. Even the judge knows. Why is everyone staring at me like I'm a wanted man? This guy isn't just playing dumb. You goofed, bro. He goofed so bad. He really doesn't know. I hate to rain on your parade, but you're the only person who can open that particular locker. Oh yeah? I call your bluff. He actually is an idiot! There was no doubt. I cry. You say I opened that locker. Now prove it. Fingerprint sensor? Boy, did you not listen when we were talking about it earlier? We talked about this earlier today. The lockers can only be opened by the detectives they belong to. We literally just mentioned it. Like, as soon as he stepped into the courtroom, we were like, by the way, fingerprint locker. And he was like, I don't know what that means. What kind of crazy talk is this? Literally quoted Phoenix there. Everyone shares one collective brain cell with Phoenix. I believe this to be true. Exact same phrasing, as it should be. Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks. So, Sheriff, what do you have to say in 8 words or less? I only got 1 word for you, partner. No! Perfectly balanced as all things should be. True. Order, order, order. Witness, explain yourself. If this is a joke, it's the worst I've ever heard. I assure you this is no joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime. The breakdown sprite was so much better in the original game. The pixels hit different, it's true. Ole, please answer the question. What is he now, a bullfighter? That's alright, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure out the rest from here. We can? Have a look at these floor plans. There's no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall. If that's so, then where was the witness? It seems Mr. Wright has an answer. That's right. The only possible conclusion. Well then, let's hear it. Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime? Assuming killer is Meekins. Officer Marshall was standing right here. There, but that's where the victim, Detective Goodman, was. Correct. Unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. I believe the victim in the video is Officer Marshall. It was you, dressed up like Detective Goodman. But that's preposterous. Officer Meekins witnessed the detective at the crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he'd know for sure. May I point out, though, that Officer Meekins did not know Detective Goodman. He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted. When I entered the evidence room, I asked him to show his card, sir. Yes, and how did Detective Goodman respond? He suddenly pulled a knife on me! Something about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had his ID card, why didn't he just show it? I love that this is just a game of nuh-uh, it's true. That's how Ace Attorney is, and I love it for it. Yes, he would have needed it to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it. The answer is simple. He couldn't show it. As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on his ID card. Oh, I get it. If he showed that, his cover would have been blown. Officer Meekins would have realized the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Do you have anything to say to this, Officer Marshall? You've got quite an imagination, partner. We got a term for that. It's called circumstantial evidence. Circumstantial evidence? He's still denying it. You're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective. Unless you have hard evidence proving I dressed up as the victim. I can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that Officer Marshall dressed up as the victim? I'm scared. Well, who am I kidding? I don't have anything like that. Okay, I'm glad we're on the same page. I can see the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems you're the one who couldn't take the desert heat. I really read that as dessert. Good job, me. This can't be happening. It's so obvious he's the one. What can I do? It looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. A knife and a flask security is something for sure. They did not screen him. They just got him in here. I'll pass on to you what someone told me when I was just starting out. When you run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics. The basics? For me, that would be what Mia used to tell me. Phoenix, try thinking outside of the box. I shouldn't look for proof that Officer Marshall was in disguise. But rather, I should look for evidence that came about because he was in disguise. Why do you think this locker was open in the first place? What do you mean? There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yet he did, despite the chance it might be discovered later as it has been. Which means he didn't originally plan to open his locker. According to the defense's argument, Officer Jake Marshall dressed up as Detective Goodman at the time of the crime. Then, after the crime was committed, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason. The fact that a white cloth is sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that. He opened it in order to put the cloth inside. So, just what exactly is this piece of cloth? Perhaps the video is the key to all our unanswered questions. I don't have any evidence, so this video is my only shot. Alrighty. Very well. Let's take yet another look at the security tape. After committing the crime, the witness opened the locker to put away the white cloth. Please show us why the witness had to open his locker. I'm pretty sure I know what it is, but I also don't trust myself, so hence the save. This. For some reason, you disguised yourself as Detective Goodman and entered the evidence room, though I don't know to what end. Yet. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. When asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood. A bloody white coat. You couldn't just walk out like that, so you hid the coat in your locker. Not bad, partner. Now then, Officer Marshall, are you ready to tell us the truth? Looks like I underestimated y'all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. The fact that he didn't say any of this, true. But you know, we don't question him. 2 years ago. If you were only half as persistent then as you are today, we all wouldn't have to be here now would we? Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did. All of it. All right. Seems the time has come. Marshall's confession. I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out and managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. Oh, but what about the big bloodstain? That bloodstain looks really big for just a bloody hand. So the supposed victim was really you. But there's one thing I still don't understand. Traces of a large quantity of blood were found on the floor of the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be? Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess is he's the donor. It was way too much blood for such a small donation. Okay, I guess, you know, they got it for me. So it's sus, but I don't think we can use it yet. Lovely. When you say it, you mean... Do you even have to ask, partner? The SL-9 incident. 2 years have passed since the case was closed. It was going to completely end with the transferal that day. Not if I have anything to do with it. That incident's not over. But what did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room? When a case is closed, only the case's lead detective can look through the evidence. I wanted to have a look at it myself one more time. No matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner. That case is mine. But Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why does he care so much about it? That day was my last chance. That's why I... Okay. Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman? If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transferal, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere. So you did it to fool the security camera. And the detective's ID card. I stole that the morning of the incident. So that really was why Goodman started filling out that lost item report. I returned his ID card. I left it on the floor in the prosecutor's office parking lot. The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall. So essentially, You managed to succeed despite your lack of foresight. What do you mean, partner? I mean the fingerprint-activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open that locker yourself. But he could because a rubber glove just happened to get stuck in the door. That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall. Did he, though? That ID was only used once. You pulled a knife on Officer Meekins and tried to drive him off. Let's just say I was a little surprised. I only planned on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that short time. Officer Meekins certainly is a 1 in a million type of person. Mistaking a detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID. I'll have to think a little more about his raise this year. When did Edgeworth get so much influence? Anyway, he threw himself at me and I ended up cutting him slightly. Hi, Kimono. I'm sorry it had to turn out that way. With me knocking him out and everything. By the way, what happened to your knife? Oh, you mean this one? I don't know what to say. So you knocked Officer Meekins out, and... He's just like, oh yeah, I stabbed him with this knife. So you did your research beforehand. Those who go into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I didn't think it would make a difference, though. Security tape is erased every 6 hours. If all had gone as planned, no footage would have been left. Thank you for the hydrate and stretch. However, you bloodied your coat in your struggle with Officer Meekins. If someone was in the security room when I came out, the jig would have been up. I opened my locker and stashed it in there. What was Officer Meekins doing during that time? What else? He was sleeping like a baby. So what you're saying is, on that day... Hydration's important so you don't get sick like me. Oh no, are you feeling any better? I hope you get well soon. You should hydrate too. But the blood found at the scene certainly indicates a crime took place. What are you, blind? The victim shown in that tape is me, and I'm not dead yet, partner. So, you stole the evidence from the locker? Actually, no, I didn't. Why not? When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone. What? Mr. Edgeworth, where is that evidence? It's still missing, Your Honor. My throat no longer feels like I'm gonna choke, but that's about it. Oh, well, you know, a little improvement is still some improvement. I'm glad you're feeling a little bit better. Detective Goodman's locker was already empty. Someone else stole the evidence. Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing? Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer. America! Exactly. He's really pushing it. He's like, yes, America. Texas, in fact, but I think they're in California, technically. Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID? Injuring a police officer? This is no small offense. Of course. Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. It can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in salary. Not that salary cuts are ever a valid solution. Like I said, this isn't your case. This one's mine. And I'll do anything it takes to get an answer I'm satisfied with. The witness has an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more. Can't just forget the SL-9. Do you know why? I think I know why, but should I press it? I probably should. But that case was solved 2 years ago, wasn't it? That's the reason the evidence was stored in the evidence room.
Joe Dark was convicted for his crimes. One thing I can say for sure is he deserved his sentence.
I remember the Joe Dark case. It involved serial murders, didn't it? I don't intend to complain about how it turned out, but there's something that still bothers me. Something went down at that trial. Something no one will talk about. What happened? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out. Why is he so concerned with that incident? Maybe I should present him with what I think his real reason is. Okay, I got it. Present. Check. Victims, Neil Marshall. There it is. Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL-9 incident. Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner. I have the SL-9 incident file here. The name Marshall is mentioned in here. In a list of murder victims. Neil Marshall. Are you related to this man?
Neil Marshall.
Yeah, I'm sure you've heard the name. 2 years ago. He received the same lousy prosecutor award you got. What? A prosecutor? He must be talking about the King of Prosecutors award.
Now I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL-9 case before I did.
That's right. He was killed. And the case fell into your hands. But what's his relation to you?
He was my brother. He was investigating the murders with Damon Gant, the then Deputy Chief of Police. The group of detectives I was part of worked under them. We were desperate to prosecute the killer.
Oop, edgy goofed, he did.
Joe Dark. My brother fought Dark and he was killed. That was the first time Dark left behind any evidence. That was all we needed. He was arraigned and incarcerated. The case was finally closed. At least, according to the public record.
What do you mean?
My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Dark. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight. And that's it. That's your reason for your insane actions. There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me.
Well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime.
That was the last day of the SL-9. The SL-9 case could be reopened. Not satisfied with its resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence.
Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled.
Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the police department that day.
But the blood stain!
The things that happen by chance never cease to amaze. At exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department.
Chance? It's gotta be more than just that. So if no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office parking lot was the real one.
Which, in turn, means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye.
But wait! A verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial!
Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today.
But
there's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department.
Seems to me, this boy's got the draw on you, partner.
All of the mysteries at the police department have been resolved. No doubt about it. Our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lana Skye, and the testimony of one Miss Angel Starr is completely incontestable. If you have a response, make it a single word or less.
Objection, surely. Arg!
I rest my case.
It seems this trial has reached its conclusion. There's no room for doubt.
Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time disproving the alleged murder at the police department.
There's no doubt what I proved today is true. The apparent murder on the security camera's tape really was fake. But I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana guilty. He turned into a pirate with rage. I would like to see that. I would like to see him as a pirate. Now then, the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant...
Oh, it's Emma!
Your Honor, wait! Emma! The defense has an objection! A scientific objection! Right? What do you mean, right? Mr. Wright, are you this girl's guardian? Your Honor? Oh, in a sense. Please, Your Honor, all I'm asking is for a minute of your time. Please hear me out. Mr. Edgeworth, please.
I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3.
Oh, so generous. I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out the SL-9 incident referred to the Joe Dark killings. What a little lad. He's very kind. Now that she mentions it, the names of both Skye sisters were in that file. But that's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day. So I knew his fingerprint had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing. The other handprint.
You mean the traces of blood found on Detective Gumshoe's locker?
But no fingerprints were found on it, right? No, but I figured if I examined it scientifically, I'd be sure to find a clue. So I ran over there and looked at it again. So did you find something? No. Huh? Sorry, I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all. Is that all? Please don't be mad. I'm just a high school student. And I'm just an attorney. But Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clue we have. If we can't find something wrong with them, please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone can save Lana, it's you. Me? Oh boy. Time's up. Now then, Mr. Wright. With regard to the incident at the police department, does any reasonable doubt remain?
It appears the defense is troubled by the other blood mark. Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered around here. Is there a problem with this?
Mr. Wright, I'm sorry I can't be of more use. But still, if you can't find anything wrong with that blood mark, Lana will be... Please answer the question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day. Yes, Your Honor. If ever I've needed to concentrate, it's now. And if ever I've needed to save, it is now. Alright. What could be wrong with that handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker? Could there be something I'm missing? I object. This handprint left at the crime scene clearly shows a contradiction.
The only thing that seems clear is your grasping, Mr. Wright.
You've been staring pretty intently at those floor plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them? Yes, this is strange. Take a good look at these floor plans. Something is missing.
Missing? You mean something hasn't been drawn on there?
Yes, something that, when drawn, will completely change the meaning of the blood mark. Let us pray the defense isn't simply trying to buy time. It's made of jam, not blood! That would be a twist. Very well, Mr. Wright. With all this evidence here, There's gotta be something I can use. The question is, which item can prove something is missing on the floor plans? Is it this? Where is he? Put him on the map.
What about that piece of plywood?
The Blue Badger, mascot of the police force. Defender of truth, guardian of proof.
Explain yourself, Mr. Wright.
Please look at the floor plans of the crime scene. The Blue Badger is not here.
So
watch what happens when we put him in. This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime. Well, what? That's right. So long as the Blue Badger is dancing here, it would be impossible to place a handprint at this spot on the locker. What? So that means, what does that mean? It means it can't be done. What are you saying? Blood traces were undeniably found on the locker. Don't look at me, I didn't put it there. Mr. Wright, think it through scientifically. Emma. On that afternoon, Officer Meekins was the one who brought the Blue Badger to the evidence room, right? After he put it down, it would be impossible to leave a handprint on the locker. So that must mean this blood mark. I don't get it. It's okay, they're explaining now. Was left there before the Blue Badger was brought in. Just one moment. I will not allow such far-fetched balderdash in my courtroom. It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, in the police department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once, but twice. How? One time was captured on this tape, taken by the security camera. Officer Meekins cut his hand, from which a trivial amount of blood fell. The problem is, the other time. Someone bled prior to the struggle shown on this tape. It had to have been Detective Goodman, when he was really murdered.
That's ridiculous. I refuse to accept your absurd claim.
The murder portrayed in the security tape has been proven to be a fake. However, that does not explain the blood mark found on the locker.
So then, assuming this murder you purport really happened, when did it take place? I demand you show evidence that proves when it occurred.
When did the first incident occur? To summarize, the defense claims that prior to Officer Meekins being cut by Jake Marshall, who was posing as Detective Goodman, another incident took place in that evidence room. That's right. The blood mark on the locker proves this. Very well, then tell us. When did this first incident occur? As Mr. Edgeworth said, proof must be presented. Proof that shows when the murder took place. Do I have an autopsy? It says between 4 p.m. and 5:30. Can I just use this? There's only one piece of evidence that can show that. Now then, will the defense please present its evidence? What shows when the first crime took place? Surely it's the autopsy report? This is the proof. It's quite simple, you see.
If it's so simple, then don't get it wrong.
Huh? No! Why? The first crime took place right before the Blue Badger was not in the room. Say, when was the Blue Badger brought there anyway? Don't we have a chart listing a bunch of times for something? Okay. I guess it's the time chart then. Okay. So it'd have to have been in here. Okay. If the crime took place inside the evidence room, then the killer would have had to enter it. And in order to do so, an ID card would have been required. An ID card. Oh, the ID card record. Officer Meekins brought the Blue Badger panel into the evidence room at, let's see here, 4:50 p.m. If the crime took place before that time, then it would be 4:40 p.m. Ah! Ah! Miles Edgeworth! Just what have you done?
I never would have figured you had the nerve, boy. Drop the act, witness. It doesn't take a lot of thought to figure out it couldn't have been me.
Nope, I ain't getting it. I'm afraid I don't understand either.
It's clear from the luminol test that blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood.
That means the blood from the first crime was wiped away by the real murderer.
I would have had just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible.
That would mean the crime must have taken place before Mr. Edgeworth entered the evidence room. Let's look at the chart again. There's only one other card number remaining. 77777777.
Talk about a lucky number.
But wait, that doesn't make sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room? Since there's no record of his card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. That's the only plausible explanation. He went in with 77777777. Mr. Edgeworth, please look into this ASAP. Find out whose ID number is 77777777.
That's 1 7 too many, Your Honor.
Oh, I only said 7, my bad.
Unfortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of that ID card. At least at present.
What?
Explain yourself, son. The ID number 77777777 belongs to someone of the rank of captain or higher. Someone who is a so-called executive officer. We don't have the authority to inquire into such a person's identity.
But that already narrows down the list, no? But that's ridiculous! Just how—
I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There is one situation in which we can be granted such authority.
Can that be a new sound redeem? What, 77777777? If an official charge is filed against an executive is accepted. An official charge? You're all alike, aren't you? With your cover-ups and forgeries. That's how the prosecutor's office operates.
I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall.
77777777? I can look into it.
I would appreciate it if you would keep your slander to yourself.
Slander is... Slander, is it? Okay. Let me ask a question.
Yes?
No, not you. To her, the defendant sitting over there. Your own little executive. Lana?
Don't be stupid. She's been charged with murder. Of course we've looked up her ID number. And it's not 77777777.
Don't blame me for a fool, partner. That's not what I want to ask. All I want to know is one thing about that incident. The SL-9 incident. Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence? Ooh.
Do you need the witness to repeat his question, Chief Prosecutor? I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for that trial. At the time, occasionally, we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least, I did.
Lana!
I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. But before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law.
Defendant, just what are you saying? I'll ask you again, Chief Prosecutor. During that trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look me, an investigator in that crime, in the eye and say that you did? Chief Prosecutor, you didn't.
I don't have to, Officer Marshall. Why won't you answer him? Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to, in order for him to get the verdict he deserved.
But Lana!
Even if it involved forging evidence.
Ooh.
See? That's what I'm talking about.
No. No! Order! 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 Order!
Lana's remarks caused such a stir. The chaos in the courtroom could not be quelled. The conclusion of the trial would have to wait until the following day.
Drama! Yippee!
I am saving. February 24th, 3:12 p.m. Wright & Co. Law Offices.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Wright. I'm sorry for what my sister said.
Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to, in order for him to get the verdict he deserved.
I didn't know. I never knew that the SL-9 incident was just another name for the Joe Dark killings.
Sounds like everyone's heard about these killings but me.
Lana wanted Dark convicted so badly. That's why she used me. That's why she used what happened to me.
What do you mean, what happened to you?
It's all there in the file. Joe Dark's last victim was Prosecutor Neil Marshall. When he murdered Officer Marshall's brother, he left behind an incriminating piece of evidence.
But what did you have to do with those killings, Emma?
On the night Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered, Joe Dark tried to kill me.
What? He tried to kill you?
Officer Marshall's brother, Neil, was only trying to save me.
So that means you...
Yes, I was a witness in the Joe Dark trial.
I didn't see that one coming.
It happened 2 years ago. It was right about this time of the year, too. There was a terrible thunderstorm that day, unusual for the season. I was alone in my sister's office. We were planning to eat dinner together once she finished her work. Then suddenly, this terrifying man came bursting into the office.
Joe Dark.
It seemed like he was running from someone. He pulled out a knife and screamed at me. I didn't know what was going on. Just then, Prosecutor Marshall showed up.
Jake Marshall's brother.
Joe Dark tried to take me hostage, but before he could, Mr. Marshall tackled him. Then,
what happened?
I'll never forget it. Lightning struck and the lights went out. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning flashed outside the window, lighting up the office for an instant. What I saw then burned a permanent picture in my mind. I can still see it now.
A permanent picture?
I don't remember the moment when Dark stabbed Mr. Marshall.
So you weren't able to testify about that?
No, I was only asked about when I was attacked. That must be why she made up the crime.
Made it up? You mean provided bogus evidence?
The prosecutor's office wanted that guilty verdict so badly. Lana forged the evidence and Mr. Edgeworth used it.
Edgeworth?
Yes, but I'm sure he didn't know anything about it. He couldn't have known he was being given false evidence. Even so, that's when it all started. The rumors about Mr. Edgeworth, I mean. It's all my fault. If I could have just testified properly, none of this would have happened.
So it's true, even though he may not have known it. Edgeworth really was involved in falsifying evidence.
After that case ended, Lana was never the same. She became cold, like she is today.
She must not have been able to face up to what she did, especially not to Emma. What did you see in the instant that the crime occurred?
Dark knocked down Mr. Marshall and raised his knife. Why bro look like an onion?
You know, for some weird reason, I don't think we'll finish the game today. Maybe not. We're gonna try, but maybe not. Neil Marshall was stabbed right in front of this poor girl.
I don't remember what happened after that. Apparently, I passed out. When I came to, Lana was cradling me in her arms.
Poor Emma. You've been through so much. Onion, I say.
There's still an entire investigation and trial to go? Yeah. We'll try. We'll see how far we can get. I couldn't bring myself to testify about that instant. I tried, but the words just wouldn't come out. I drew a picture, but it wasn't any good.
2 years ago. You must have been 14. That's understandable.
Once it was all over, I made up my mind. I decided that when I grew up, I'd become a scientific investigator. I want to be able to fight crime with my testimonies and find the evidence to make an airtight case.
Note to self, laugh at the picture. Oh no!
That way, Lana would never have to forge any.
I see. I think I'm finally starting to understand what makes Emma tick. But there's still something that bothers me about that crime. There's something that's puzzling me, Emma.
What is it?
You said you were in Lana's office at the time, right?
That's right.
Why then would a serial killer come running in there? Not only that, but he was being chased by a prosecutor?
Oh, there's no mystery there. Joe Dark had been taken in for questioning that day.
Taken in for questioning? You mean by the police?
Of course. This happened at the police department. He tried to run away halfway through the interview and fled into my sister's office.
But why did he run all the way over to your sister's office?
Because the detective offices and the questioning room are right across from the elevator.
Note to self, also do that at the next art stream. Go for it. Across from the elevator? But Lana was the chief prosecutor, wasn't she?
No, silly. Didn't I tell you? 2 years ago, Lana was a detective. She was the best in the entire force.
What? That's news to me.
After the Joe Dark case, she was transferred to the prosecutor's office and made chief prosecutor.
Lana used to be a detective? I'd better have another talk with her.
Well, I guess I know where we're going.
February 24th, Detention Center Visitors Room.
Lana.
Mr. Wright, it seems I keep causing you trouble. Falsifying evidence. I didn't think you were the type. Criminals don't mind playing foul. Why should we?
But Lana, if you're wrong, an innocent person might be found guilty.
Believe me, I understand the risks. Lana, Emma told me about you.
Oh?
About how you were a detective 2 years ago. And how the SL-9 incident was the reason for your transfer to the prosecutor's office.
That's right.
Could you fill me in on the details? Especially about that unusual change of jobs.
I suppose you have a right to know, Mr. Wright.
That is right. A lot of revelations were uncovered at the trial today, not the least of which was the fact that this case is largely connected to another one 2 years ago. Evidence from that case was stolen as well, though I expected as much. I know how obsessive Officer Marshall can be.
That trial, it really wasn't fair, was it? I believed in you, Lana. I believed that no matter what happened, you'd always stick to the truth.
It couldn't be helped, Emma. At that trial 2 years ago, I sold my soul. Well, all drama aside, the fact of the matter is, at 5:15, there was no murder at the police department.
Tell me it's not true, Lana. What the witness, Miss Starr, said. About you stabbing Mr. Goodman with the knife. Lana, I don't understand. Why won't you tell us?
Emma, this doesn't involve just me. I feel like I'm supposed to feel bad for her. It's kind of hard to, because she keeps lying. If she was a detective, do you think she and Gumshoe ever worked together on a case? That's a good question, because Gumshoe was working as a detective at that time. He might have been newer, but like, maybe. I don't think I've ever seen Lana look so phased before. I feel no sympathy for her at all. I mean, same. I don't either. She doesn't deserve it. It's true, I was a member of the police force 2 years ago.
She was amazing! They still talk about all the cases she and Chief Gant cracked together. Chief Gant?
He was the deputy chief of police back then, but he still worked the crime scenes. Damon Gant. He was everything I aspired to be.
They were the best team ever! They solved crimes before the reports could even be filed.
Emma really idolizes her big sister. But now you're chief prosecutor. What happened? I always planned on becoming a prosecutor. The reason I became a detective was
to gain experience investigating crime scenes so you could use that experience in court, right?
Gant's help in the SL-9 case was crucial to its resolution. After that, he became the chief of police and arranged my transfer to the prosecutor's office. Maybe I should ask more about this investigation of theirs 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was second in command of the detectives investigating Dark.
Second in command? That means the investigation lead was Damon Gant, right?
Yes. Deputy Chief Gant and I shared the same office and the same investigations.
They even had the same office.
We led a team of the best detectives on the force. Detective Goodman, whose case it was, Jake Marshall, and Angel Starr.
Didn't they say that Goodman was like the most mid-detective ever? I recall them saying this, and now she's like, oh, they were the best squad.
It was the first time Marshall worked with his brother. He was quite gung-ho.
Sus. She's clouded by nostalgia. They were actually kind of mid.
Without a doubt, Joe Dark was the serial killer. We asked him to come in for questioning. We were desperate for evidence. That was when his final murder took place. When he tried to murder Emma.
Prosecutor Marshall was trying to save me from Dark.
You see, the first person who happened upon the scene of the crime was me.
Now you tell us.
Damon Gant and Neil Marshall were the ones questioning Dark that day. The investigation was in its final stages, and Dark must have suddenly panicked. So he waited until Gant and Marshall let their guards down, then fled the room. From there, he ran straight to the office shared by Deputy Chief Gant and myself.
That's where he found me.
So you were the first person to run to the scene, Lana? It appears so. I was filing some papers while Gant and Marshall were questioning Dark.
Ayo!
When I returned to my office, I saw 3 bodies on the floor and smelled blood.
3 bodies? Prosecutor Marshall, the victim. Emma, who had passed out.
And the suspect, Joe Dark. During the struggle, it seems Mr. Marshall struck a final blow before he died.
Okay, so the top guy has a knife in his back. He does indeed.
Joe Dark had incurred a minor concussion and lay unconscious.
Why is the guy on the bottom dead? Well, apparently he just passed out. Got a concussion. What did you do?
To be honest, I panicked. I picked up Emma, carried her out of the room, and just held her.
I bet, yeah. Can't blame her. After all, her sister must have gone through. He's a serial killer who passes out at the sight of blood. Well, maybe he's the other kind of serial killer. We don't know this. It could be.
After that, I placed Dark under immediate arrest.
Let me get this straight. You were all involved in the SL-9 incident.
That's right. Quite a coincidence,
I don't buy it. What are you saying? There's no way everyone involved in this trial was also involved in that incident, just by chance. But that case was solved 2 years ago. At least one person went to extremes because they didn't believe it was truly solved.
Officer Marshall. Yes, his actions came as a surprise to me as well. Ever since his brother died, he's changed completely.
I guess he wasn't convinced with the ruling against Joe Dark. Giving me Murder on the Orient Express vibes? Oh yeah, that's kind of true. I can see it.
Life doesn't end with the closing of a case. Everyone has to live the rest of their lives with their memories.
That case just might not be over yet. Emma was assaulted by Dark at the police department, right? Yes, in the office that Damon Gant and I shared. The office that Mr. Gant now occupies by himself. The chief's office. Maybe we should have a look at the chief's office. The site of the final SL-9 murder. Are they gonna let us in? February 24th, Police Station, Criminal Affairs Department. I don't see Detective Gumshoe anywhere. Things seem kind of quiet around here today. You're right. The chief of detectives seems the same, though. Why don't we go look for some other people to talk to? Dark's in the walls. Oh no. A dead man in the walls. More likely than you think in this game. Right. We could come back here later. Police department entrance. Howdy, Bambina. Oh, Mr. Marshall. I never thought things would turn out this way when I woke up this morning. Sarah. How do you say that with the accent? Anyway, you never know where life will lead you, eh, Bambina? Sarah, right? How do you... I can't. That takes too much brain power. I should have known my luck had run out when old Billy dried up this morning. That's how you say it? Que sera, sera? But like, I don't know. Billy? Must be his pet cactus. Say, where are you headed? Just over to the prosecutor's office for a little interrogation. It's a voluntary appearance, but we all know I won't be coming back. Sorry, but you can't go in the evidence room today, partner. But Mr. Marshall, why did you do it? Why do prospectors head west? If ever there was a case I needed to know the truth about, it was that one. Before you turn yourself in, Mr. Marshall, would you mind telling us exactly what happened? Looks like I won't be getting a state lunch today. Something was fishy about that trial from the beginning. It wasn't just me either. All the detectives thought so. What do you mean fishy? Some of the facts reported were inconsistent with the evidence we found. For example, the murder weapon. The murder weapon? You mean that switchblade knife with the broken tip? That was Joe Dark's all right. You know, tuna, sardine, salmon. Oh gosh. Everyone in the case was addicted to other. All part of the same fishbowl. But in the initial autopsy report, a question was raised. A question? The blade of the knife was not a perfect match with the wound the victim sustained. What does that mean? It means there's a good chance that knife was not the murder weapon. However, in the report that was finally submitted, that possibility had been erased. Could the facts have been concealed with forged evidence? That case left behind scars on all of us. The scars that the SL-9 incident left behind. What's for dinner? I don't know. I haven't asked. Does anyone else know what's for dinner? I got the looks, but he got the brains. He was one of the best prosecutors around. I just made detective when it went down. Food? True. That much I can also say, yes. We are having food for dinner. It was our first case together. How old was he, your brother? He was 27 at the time. He was awarded the highest honor that very day. The highest honor? You mean the... Ooh, beef stir-fry leftovers? Nice. A lunchbox from Angel Star? Which one? She's got a lot of them to choose from. Made it super spicy to fight your sickness? I hope it works. King of prosecutors. I knew it. What are you looking at me like that for? That's an honor for a prosecutor. Mr. Marshall must have really been close with his brother. The day of the SL-9 incident took place. That wasn't the same day as... That's right. It was the day of the evidence transferal. Interesting.
It was drizzling that morning, and by nightfall there was thunder. Can't believe 2 years have gone by already. I tried to steal the evidence so the case wouldn't die. Apparently someone tried to stop you. Detective Goodman was murdered, and the evidence locker was empty. There was something going on behind the scenes in that case. We all knew that later. Every detective involved in that investigation, save one, was taken care of. Miss Starr was fired, and I was demoted and boxed away in a tiny room. What about Detective Goodman? If they did something to him, too, the commissioners would get suspicious. No, they were careful enough to not be too obvious. They? Who are you talking about? Don't get upset, Bambina. I mean Damon Gant and Lana Skye. The investigation lead, Damon Gant, and his second-in-command, Lana Skye. There wasn't a person on the force who hadn't heard of that duo. That case was the biggest step in both of their careers. After the case ended, Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office, right? Yeah, Damon Gant, the new chief of police, arranged for that to happen. She's never been the same since she left. Everyone who knew her said so. Chief Prosecutor Skye was totally different when she was a detective. Now that he mentions it, Emma said something like that too. Tell me, what happened to my sister? Sorry, Bambina, but her secret is too well guarded. I never found out. Lana's secret. It all started 2 years ago. So there you have it. That's my story. Did you enjoy it, partner? It was certainly enlightening. There's one thing for sure I found out in court today. That boy Edgeworth isn't my enemy. He was the one who used falsified evidence to get a guilty verdict. But someone else was the one who gave him that evidence and planned everything. That someone is Damon Gant. Don't believe me? Well, I don't blame you. I won't even be a patrolman after today. Too bad I won't be around to work with you. I have a theory. What is your theory? When you become a real scientific investigator. Adios, Bambina. No, so sad. Underground parking lot. No one's here today, not even Miss Starr. Everyone's probably busy looking into what exactly went down in the evidence room. That must be where the detectives are. We proved in court today that on the day of the crime, no one was murdered in the evidence room at 5:15 p.m. Yeah, I thought we were finally making some headway in our case. But instead it looks like we just ended up making Lana look even more guilty. Hang in there, Lana. I've got to find all the answers by tomorrow. The High Prosecutor's office. Lana killed Marshall thinking it was dark when the lights went out. Ooh, okay. Okay. So she killed Marshall, left him and Joe Dark in the room, and then picked up Emma and left, and waited for everyone else to show up? Interesting. It is generally dark when the lights are out. This is true. Mr. Edgeworth isn't here. Maybe he's being questioned by an inquiry committee. He took a real beating in court today. Yeah, with Lana admitting to falsifying evidence 2 years ago. I guess we'll just have to come back later. How do I get to Gant's office? Let me in! This place is always pretty empty, but today it's deserted. That must mean everyone's busy solving crimes. Oh, if you're looking for the others, they're all in the conference room. Thanks. Wow, he actually talked to us. With the chief prosecutor saying what she did and the decision about what to do, about Mr. Edgeworth, not to mention our statement to the media and tomorrow's trial, there's more chaos going on than Thanksgiving and Christmas put together. I think festive is the word usually used for those. Sir? We'd like to have a look around Chief Gant's office. Just use the connecting hallway to the other building and take the elevator to the top floor. Really? You mean it's okay for us to go in there? I mean, we aren't police officers or anything. Hey, you're right. You can't go in there. It's off limits.
Now I see where Detective Gumshoe gets his unique charm. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's head to the chief's office. I mean, if he's not gonna stop us, then... February 24th, Police Department Chief's Office. Whoa, where am I? In the chief's office, silly. At least, that's what it said on the door. Check out that pipe organ. That's real, isn't it? Hey, I used to take organ lessons in kindergarten. They used to call me Little Miss Bach. I thought I was a genius until they tried teaching me notes. It's a freaking church? It actually is. I never could remember where C was. Oh, it's you two. Chief Gant. He put that paper he was reading in his desk. So, Righto, have you been swimming lately? No, I haven't. I've been kind of busy lately. I can appreciate that. I've had my hands full too with Mr. Marshall's misconduct. And Lana's provocative statement. Provocative statement? Oh, you mean about the forged evidence? Been swimming lately? No, actually, I don't really like swimming. I haven't been swimming in years. 2 years have passed since that incident. My, how time flies. See that big picture on the wall over there? Oh, it's the vase! Vase. That's a picture of Lana, Neil, and me. So this is Mr. Marshall's brother, Prosecutor Neil Marshall. We took it to commemorate our work together. Something's not right with this picture. I can't quite seem to put my finger on it, though. Ooh, nice. Anyway, I'd like to reminisce all day, but there are matters that need my attention. The genetics are strong, you think so? Maybe if he had a stubble, I could see it more. Unless you're talking about Lana and Emma, but... I'm going to lock up here, so let's get out together. Let's go out together. Oh, handsome faces are hard to come by. You know, fair enough. But this office, it was a crime scene 2 years ago, wasn't it? That case has long since been over. There's no need to investigate it anymore. All the same, we'd still like to have a look around. Perhaps you didn't hear me. I said there's no need to investigate it anymore. Now hurry up and get out. I have a meeting to attend. No, we were removed. Looks like we aren't welcome. It seems that case isn't over with yet, after all. What do you mean? Chief Gant denied our request to search the crime scene. That means there must be a reason he doesn't want us looking around in there. You mean like a clue? There's gotta be a way we could get inside the chief's office. Well... Can we just go in while he's in a meeting? Hey, pal. Detective Gumshoe. Aren't you supposed to be in a meeting? I'm, just taking a breather. My feet hurt. From sitting so long? Actually, from serving everyone coffee. Sounds like Detective Gumshoe's still out of the loop. Say, have either of you seen Mr. Edgeworth? Edgeworth? No. Why do you ask? He's under fire from both the police department and the prosecutor's office. It's almost like the battle's between you two in court. That sounds serious. Is it because of what my sister said? That's basically what it all boils down to. That falsified evidence 2 years ago. Now Mr. Edgeworth has the whole world after his blood. Yikes. But why would Edgeworth be blamed? It's not like he knew the evidence was forged. Lana Skye is the guilty party here, isn't she? Regardless, a prosecutor's responsible for the evidence they present in court. Not only that, But as you know, there have been a lot of rumors going around about Mr. Edgeworth. His amazing talent as a prosecutor has kept him safe from those who don't like him. But now with this...
Are there really so many people who hate him?
In our world, only those with talent rise to the top. Mr. Edgeworth not only has that, but he's young. There's no better recipe I know for making enemies. Hey Dick, keep up the good work. Yes, sir. Let's go out for lunch again sometime. My treat. Yes, sir. You gotta take me back to that joint sometime, okay, Dick? Yes, sir.
Seems you don't have any problems with enemies.
Yeah, well, I'm careful not to stick out. Anyway, I'm a bit worried about him. Under all this pressure, I'm afraid Mr. Edgeworth just might crack.
Trust me, there are more than enough ways to make enemies. Just look at American politics, more than enough proof there. That's true. Feel like enemies are a lot easier to make than friends, but what can you do?
Actually, I took a look at the file earlier while the coffee was brewing.
He seems genuinely concerned for Edgeworth. Well, did you find out anything?
The only evidence Dark left behind was during his final attack.
His final attack? You mean... So true, actually. Yeah, it'd be that way. Kinda sucks, but what, you know. It's whatever.
When he killed Prosecutor Marshall, who was trying to protect some girl.
Some girl?
Me. It seems Detective Gumshoe never realized Emma was the girl. That's when he left the most incriminating evidence of all.
Well, what was it?
Oh, let's see. I think it had something to do with a murder weapon. Oh, I forget. Look, it's all written somewhere in here, okay? His powers of recollection never fail to impress.
Maybe we should show him the murder weapon. It might jog his memory. Okay, In a way, friendship is just a challenge. How long can I talk to this person before I mess up? Yeah, in a way. But hopefully, you know, with some friends, it's like, even if you do mess up, you can make up for it.
That's how I see it.
About this.
Hey, is that...
It has a tag attached to it with the label SL-9 incident on it. I believe this would be the broken murder weapon you were speaking of.
What are you doing with that? Ever since that case was closed, that knife's been locked away in a locker.
On the day Detective Goodman was murdered, this suddenly disappeared from the locker and was found in Mr. Edgeworth's car muffler.
That's it! Now I remember what the incriminating piece of evidence was. When you showed me that knife, it all came back to me.
Well, what is it, Detective? Quick, before you forget again.
Joe Dark was 42 at the time of the crime. He was just your run-of-the-mill businessman.
A businessman? What made him take to serial killing?
One day on his way home from work, he hit someone with his car.
With his car? So, it was an accident?
I don't see why his age is related, but sure, he was just your average 42-year-old guy, you know. An accident, yes, but it transformed him into an animal.
An animal?
He killed a man that witnessed the accident. Then he killed a lady who saw the second crime. A kid walked by just then, so he killed him too. Then, when he was burying the bodies, a jogger came up on the scene and was killed as well. Finally, he turned himself in.
Seems he was a pretty careless animal. So he had the answer to life, universe, and everything? That is true, he does. 42, the magic number.
Of course, this is all conjecture. There wasn't a single shred of evidence.
So he turned himself in?
Yes, but in the middle of his questioning, he fled and murdered his final victim. Prosecutor Marshall.
Ever seen the movie or read the book? I read the book, or rather, like, my dad read it out loud to me when I was little. So yes, I do know.
That crime was witnessed by someone too, but luckily Dark was arrested on the spot. It's a good thing that last witness wasn't killed.
That last witness? Interesting choice for a kid's book? Yeah. But you know, we went through a lot of books, so.
AKA Emma.
This knife, it was Joe Dark's, wasn't it?
That's right. We traced it back to the store he bought it at, plus it had his fingerprints on it too.
But no one actually witnessed him using it to murder anyone, right?
That's where his luck ran out. Do I still read? Sometimes, yes. I read a lot more manga than, like, novels now, but yes, I do read. When you take a good look at the knife, you'll see it's broken. You don't have to take a good look to notice that. Yeah, well, anyway, take a guess where the broken off tip of the knife was found. That's what did him in. Where was it? You like manga pretends to be surprised. Yes, indeed, I do. The victim, Neil Marshall, was carrying it inside his own body. It was found deep inside the stab wound. Did it match Dark's knife? You bet, down to the last fiber. That's pretty conclusive. Let's go. Neil's autopsy report. And switchblade knife was updated. Well, there you have it in a nutshell. That's all I know. I don't think knives have fibers. I don't think so either. Can I ask you one more thing? What is it? If it's money you need, you should ask Chief Gant. It's not money, but it does concern the chief. His office is a crime scene, right? It's where Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered. The chief's out now and his office is locked. But we'd like to have a look around if that's okay. Well, any detective's ID card can unlock the door. What? Really? If I let a civilian in there, I'd be charged with breach of trust. Breach of trust? Simply put, I'd be canned. Oh. Sorry, pal. I don't plan on getting fired because of you. How about this ID card? It was Detective Goodman's. That won't work either. The data was deleted the day he died. Oh. So in other words, Gumshoe's our only chance of getting into that office. I wonder if there's something we could show him that would make him change his mind. Do I? This? I've been studying up on those files. There's nothing wrong with Mr. Edgeworth's presentation. To think people are accusing him of injustice. I, for one, ain't buying it, pal. You're looking into the case for Mr. Edgeworth. Yeah, it was a pretty big deal while it was going on, you know. After all, a serial killer was on the loose. Alana was pretty clear in her confession. She forged evidence in order to prove Joe Dark guilty. This? That's the ID card record, isn't it? Yes, there's only one number left to investigate, at 4:20 p.m. The victim, Detective Goodman, must have entered the evidence room along with someone else. Someone with an executive officer number. 7777777. Oh, 7. That's 1 7 too many, Detective. An executive officer. I just might have a hunch. It's Gant! Please, let me in! Neil Marshall died between 7 and 7:30. Single stab wound. Died from blood loss in under 10 minutes. Weapon found. What's missing? Tip. This? Nope. Okay. This? Nope. Well, can I... Okay. No? Okay. Please let me in the office, I beg of you, Gumshoe! Okay, maybe I need to go somewhere else first. Is Edgeworth back yet? Aha. I wonder if Edgeworth is back yet. There he is. Looks like he's writing something. What are you doing here? He sure was quick to throw that paper on the floor. Tough day in court, huh? I had to live the past 2 years with rumors flying around. What's another allegation to me? Cheer up, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm rooting for you. That's Edgeworth for you. Always trying to hide his real feelings. So, what do you want? Unlike some people, I don't have all day. There's no excuse for what I've done. 2 years ago, I used false evidence to obtain a guilty verdict. That's what it all breaks down to,
and nothing I do can erase that fact.
But you didn't know, did you? I mean, that the evidence was falsified.
The police department and the prosecutor's office share a bond of trust. If that bond is broken, we stand to lose everything. The police department's error is my error. My responsibility as the prosecutor in charge. The fact remains the same, no matter what excuses I might have.
Mr. Edgeworth.
I take pride in my work. So tell me why. Why has it all come to this?
Even Edgeworth can't keep this kind of emotion bottled up. Are you up for the trial tomorrow?
First last year's trial, and now this one. It seems all you do is worry about me. To be honest, you're getting on my nerves.
But Mr. Edgeworth, you can't just walk out on the trial.
Tomorrow is the last day. It's too late to change prosecutors. I'll bet that's what my superiors are banking on. I never thought that case would come back to haunt me like this.
What do you mean?
The list of evidence. It seems too short. Most lists run twice as long.
It's only half as long as most lists. That is odd.
After Neil Marshall was murdered, I became prosecutor for that case. I may not have been part of the investigation, but I knew what I had to do. Use the evidence I was given to prove the suspect guilty. That was really the only thing on my mind at the time.
Say, we just saw a picture taken around that time. Bella, hi! Thank you for the follow. Welcome, welcome. How are you doing? That picture. Something seems strange about it. Could you tell us again about what happened that day? The day Detective Goodman was murdered. You were participating in a ceremony over at the station, right?
I've never cared for ceremonies, but I had to attend that one.
Because you were awarded this?
Those receiving awards can't exactly skip out on the ceremony. I finished up at the office in the morning, then drove over to the police department.
You finished up at the office?
Yes, just odds and ends. Clerical stuff. I didn't plan on returning to the office that day. That is, until I was asked to take something back.
You okay playing Genshin? Ooh, have fun! If I can... I'm pretty sure I'll have time later to help you find what you need. Take something back?
This.
Oh yeah, Chief Gann asked you to hold on to that, didn't he?
Yes, it was a piece of evidence in a case that was closed half a year ago. He asked me to bring it back to the prosecutor's office.
That's the story we heard yesterday. So you came back here to the prosecutor's office because the chief asked you to. No rush? Okay, thank you. I will do my best to help later.
That's right.
Okay. Am I supposed to show him something? This? This picture was hanging on the wall in Chief Gant's office.
Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He had just started making a name for himself. Looks like this was taken when he received the King of Prosecutors trophy.
Speaking of that, there's something that bothers me.
Yes?
The trophy Mr. Marshall is holding. It's a little different than yours.
Yes, you're right. Oh, I remember now.
Remember what?
That was what the official prosecutor's trophy looked like until 2 years ago. There's a story behind its design.
A story? Sounds interesting. Would you mind telling it to us?
It's simple, really. Contradiction. That's what the award's based on.
Talk.
This award originates from an ancient Chinese tale. In Chinese, the word contradiction is written with 2 characters. The first means halberd, and the second means shield. Have you heard this story?
Me? Oh, sure. Everyone knows that. Why don't you tell it, though? For Emma's sake.
Very well. Long ago in the kingdom of Chu, there was an arms merchant.
He's so big brain. Giga brain, even.
One day, he presented the king with 2 items. The first was a halberd he claimed could slice through any shield or armor. The second was a shield he claimed could withstand any weapon.
Wait a minute. Those claims contradict each other.
Very perceptive. But then again, you've heard the story before, right? Anyway, as you mentioned, the very descriptions of these items discredit them both. When the king pointed this out, the merchant was left speechless, and thus the Chinese word for contradiction was born.
Oh, I see. So the chipped shield and the broken knife symbolize...
My man's giving it all away, he is. Precisely so. They symbolize the merchant's items. The ancient tale ends with the merchant at a loss for words. But it's in our nature to pursue matters to their conclusion, even if it results in something as ugly as this.
Wow, thanks, Mr. Edgeworth. I learned something new today. That's funny. If that's so, then why were you only given a shield?
You'll have to ask Chief Gant. 2 years ago, he had the halberd part of the award abolished.
Chief Gant. Alrighty. Nope, okay. Oh, wait. Oops. To take evidence from a case solved 6 months ago back to the prosecutor's office.
I have a locker in there as well.
Did you notice anything amiss when you were in the evidence room?
That room's always dark, and I was in a hurry. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary.
Okay. This.
Right, please. No. Okay.
This? No, okay. If I show my best evidence, best evidence. Nope, okay. Maybe that's it? Okay, let's move. Oh, okay. Excuse me.
Would either of you care for a quarter pound of roast beef?
Miss Starr! I guess she's out of lunches.
You certainly are the curious sort, aren't you? Kind of like the first person who sucked a cow's nipple to discover milk. Still, I never thought you'd go digging up that case from 2 years ago.
Everyone in this trial was involved in the SL-9 incident. Not only that, but the murder occurred on the very day the evidence from that case was due for transferal. This can't be attributed to mere coincidence.
Aren't you forgetting something? You know, that little scene I happened to witness?
The instant Lana stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife.
No matter how much of the past you dig up, it won't change what I saw. Roast beef is meant to be savored when eaten.
Miss Starr's hatred toward Lana. It all dates back to 2 years ago.
Joe Dark. That's a name I'll not soon forget. We trailed him for half a year. Oh, the pressure. Still, I don't think I was ever more alive than I was then.
What does KR mean? Korean? Yeah, it means Korean.
Those days were steamier than a bowl of hot gravy. Poor old Jake Marshall, though, must have been going through hell.
You mean because of his brother's death?
They were close, those two. After Neil died, something took over Jake. He became obsessed. Seeing Jake like that made her all the more desperate.
Her?
Lana Skye.
My sister?
The best of the best were put on the SL-9 case. Of course, they were led by that legendary duo.
Lana and Chief Gant. Oh, that was Emma, my bad.
That legendary pair was the reason we were able to keep up our investigation. That's why we were so shocked over how it turned out.
You mean with the forging of the evidence?
Don't get me wrong, Joe Dark got what he deserved. Still, it was obvious the evidence produced in court was being manipulated. Items our team never found would suddenly appear, while other items were kept secret.
어떻게 지내세요? 잘 지내요. I'm doing good. But you don't have proof anything illegal was done.
I'm proof enough of what happened. After that case, all of us, save Goodman, were relieved of our duties.
Those weren't words, they were just random sounds, maybe to someone who doesn't know. You know a little Korean? That's impressive. Where did you learn? Did you teach yourself?
Most without even so much as an explanation. Then Lana Skye transferred to the prosecutor's office and became chief prosecutor.
I don't think you'll finish the game today, so you'll be going a bit tired. And if you do finish, I'll have to watch the VOD. Oh, okay, thank you for coming, Arumla. Good night. An app called HelloTalk. Oh, I've never heard of it. Is it good for teaching languages? Lana always wanted to be a prosecutor.
Nothing's quite as simple as it appears.
Huh? Let me know if you finish it today. Okay, I will. I'm gonna try, but we'll see.
Lana Skye was merely being used as a pawn. That's my take on the matter.
She was being used?
Damon Gant and Lana Skye.
You can meet people who want to learn a language you want. Oh, okay, I see. So it's more of like a group teaching study thing. I see. Interesting.
Gant led the investigation while Lana second in command. With Lana second in command, they were the best.
They solved all kinds of cases together, didn't they?
Damon Gant's magnetism in particular was almost unreal.
His magnetism?
By that I mean his ability to attract evidence. He'd produced the most incredible evidence in the cases he handled.
Incredible evidence? You mean...
Oh yes, there were rumors about him even back then. No one dared confront him, though.
I take it she's talking about forged evidence.
Back then, everyone looked up to Lana. All the detectives wanted to be like her.
Really?
Oh yes, myself included. I was a fool, really. She hated anything crooked and always watched out for the other detectives. That's why she was so concerned for Jake.
Mr. Marshall.
When Jake's brother was murdered, she felt as if she had lost her own brother. If it wasn't for her, I don't think Jake would have ever recovered from his shock. That's what makes it all the more infuriating.
Miss Starr.
That's why I'll never be able to forgive her. Why did she have to turn so cold after that?
Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office 2 years ago, didn't she?
Yes, thanks to Chief Gant's powerful influence.
Chief?
That's right. Having solved the SL-9 case, his position as chief was secured. There was only one thing left for him to control. And then no one could stand in his way. The prosecutor's office.
What? You mean that's why Lana was transferred?
If he could control the chief prosecutor, he could control the prosecutor's office. That must have been his goal all along.
But how could he control Lana?
I don't know, but one thing's for sure. Ever since that case ended, she's never been the same. It's only logical to conclude. There must have been a reason for her change.
At last. I'm finally getting close to the bottom of this ugly mess. Thank you, Miss Starr.
You listen to me, rookie. It takes more than just ingredients to create fine cuisine. I hope you turn out to be a better chef than I've been.
Okay, but can you tell me anything? You don't have anything else to say. Okay. Alright. I'll leave you to it then. Oh, you're back. You're still here? Gotta make 150 copies of these files. Brewing coffee, copying files. I'm turning into a regular DJ. You're a DJ as well? If I'm not mistaken, I think he means desk jockey. Oh, that DJ. Gotta admire your persistency, but my answer's still no. I'm not letting you into the chief's office, period. It'd be my neck on the line. That office is the last crime scene in the SL-9 incident. I have to take a look in there. There's gotta be something we could do to make the detective change his mind. Okay, so I do have to give him something. This? Hey, that's it! That's the King of Prosecutors award that Mr. Edgeworth got the other day. Were you at the award ceremony, Detective Gumshoe? Of course, pal. I got an award for diligence myself. Ah, congratulations. Say, this design's based on an old Chinese parable, right? Yeah, everyone knows that. There was this, dragon. Yeah, that's it, a dragon. He had a thing for shields, see? That's not exactly the version we heard. No, but this one sounds more exciting. Anyway, it gets kind of gory after that. I'll spare you the details. Okay. This? No. This. No. Please! Studying these. Not buying it. Serial killer. What can I give you, Gumshoe? Please! ID card record. Official number, blah blah blah. No, please. About this. Hey, is that okay? This? This guy almost made us lose the case today. What are you talking about? He was guarding the bloodstain on that evidence locker with his life. That's more than you could say about most officers nowadays. It would have saved us a lot of trouble if he hadn't guarded it so well. I have to admit, he's right though. Thanks to the Blue Badger, we were able to prove another possibility today. The possibility that another murder took place prior to 5:15 p.m. Was that it? Nope. This ID card belonged to the victim, Detective Bruce Goodman. You can do just about anything these days with a card and a secret number. Scary. It's only scary because you keep dropping your card, Detective Gumshoe. I forget my secret number a lot too. I'm scared of myself. But I'm me after all, and what could be wrong with that? I think I'll stay out of this conversation. Detective, here's my attorney's badge. You show this to me every time we meet, pal. Real men show their police badge, enough said. I wish I had a badge. Even an ID card would be nice. Please? Hint, hint? ID card? Gumshoe, please, I need to... Wah. Okay. Nope, okay. So she doesn't want anything. Edgeworth, please. Please. I once dreamed of being a defense attorney a long time ago. What? You wanted to be a defense attorney, Mr. Edgeworth? Yet a clear path is laid out before me. I have no time to look back on what might have been. Okay, Please, let me... Let me... I just wanna investigate, bro. Picture was hanging in the wall of the chief's office. Talking about the... Okay. I remember now the story, blah, blah, blah. What am I... Okay, I'm gonna look it up. I said it. Grr. Day 3 investigation. Okay. We talked to the got the picture, knife, yes. Present the trophy, aha. Oh, I have to examine this room. Okay, big brain. Examine. What is this, sir? I wonder what he was writing before. Come on, Mr. Wright. Let's take a look. Are you crazy? Edgeworth is sitting right there. Just distract him. I'll check it out. Hey, Edgeworth. Is that Detective Gumshoe out at the window there? Oh no, he's falling to the ground.
Hold on. First, let me see what the girl's doing crawling around my feet.
He didn't even look. What? Letter of...
If you're having trouble reading, I'll read it for you. It says letter of resignation.
Resignation? Edgeworth, you don't mean...
I'm tired, Wright. I feel as if something inside me has died.
But Mr. Edgeworth, none of it is your fault.
I know the path I've walked. You don't need to tell me. And the path I've walked hasn't been a just one. I can't forgive myself for what I've done. And no one else should forgive me either.
Uh-oh. I think he's serious. Mr. Wright, please, you have to do something. This letter of resignation. I wonder if I can use it for anything. Oh, haha, yes, give it to me.
Gumshoe! Gumshoe, where are you?
What's this crumpled up piece of paper? No way! Mr. Edgeworth can't be serious! Is he ever not serious? I can't believe they pushed him this far! Mr. Edgeworth really feels responsible. When I first met him, I thought he was as cold as ice, too. But I know different now. He trusted us detectives to provide him with sound evidence. But we betrayed him. Detective. That's it. I made up my mind. But... Here, take my ID card. We can't do that. If someone found out, they wouldn't let you off the hook with another lost item report. Look at me. It's no secret I'm already out of the loop. After all, I'm friends with Mr. Edgeworth. Depending on how this case turns out, I may already be as good as terminated. What? So at least let me do this, for Mr. Edgeworth's sake. All right, Detective. Thank you. Gumshoe's ID! What's your number, buddy? They won't show me. Sad. Okay. Alright, back to the chief's office. Here goes, Mr. Wright. Yippee! We're in! If anyone finds us now... Detective Gumshoe's a goner. If that happens, I'm counting on you to bail me out. Eek! Ah! Sorry, I thought you were a ghost. I didn't even know you could slap a ghost. Ah, Detective Gumshoe! What are you doing sneaking up on us like that? I wasn't sneaking. I was just worried something might go wrong. So I came too. If you're here, then what's the point in giving us your ID card? Gumshoe's ID crushed and rendered unusable in pocket. No, he needs that. Hey, don't do that to my card. Oh, Phoenix. Hardly ever get a chance to come in here, so I figured I'd have a look around myself. Besides, we're all in this together now. You really do want to get fired, don't you? Not if we're lucky. Now come on, let's see what we can find out. I've got a bad feeling about this. Okay, examine. Where's my luminol? Oh, I found bloodstain. Whoa! this area must have been covered in blood. Is this from that incident? It must be, when Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered. 2 years have passed, so the reaction's kind of dull.
So a murder really did take place here. Why won't they let me spray over here? Weird. Okay. This was Lana's desk. Sure is tidy.
Lana's always been a meticulous cleaner.
There's not even any dust on it. Looks like someone's still keeping it clean. Does Lana ever come back here? No. Chief Gant must still keep it clean in memory of their partnership. They were the stuff legends are made of. Does he keep it in memory of her or in memory of the crime?
How sussy.
The Chief's organ sure is a sight to behold. Occasionally we hear him playing it from the Criminal Affairs Department. That's on the 2nd floor, and this is the 15th floor of an entirely different building. When a detective screws up, the Chief calls them to his office and makes them listen to the organ for hours.
What's so bad about that? Music soothes the soul.
After that, the detective can't hear anything for days except the ringing in their ears. So it's an instrument of punishment, literally.
Solch, hi! Is that how you say your name? I'm sorry if I mispronounce it. How are you? But aren't the Chief's ears affected?
He never listens to anyone anyway. That's besides the point. This is the real deal, isn't it? The armor and these weapons? Sure is, pal. The Chief doesn't care for imitations. First the pipe organ, now this armor. Do you know how many taxpayer dollars must have gone in this room? Great, you played the trilogy last year? Ooh, how did you like it? I'm replaying it.
What? You mean we're paying for this? That's it. I'm not paying 1 cent of my taxes.
You don't have any taxes to pay. You almost failed your college exams. Oh no, because of Ace Attorney? Shh, be careful of what you say. Who knows, the Chief may be hiding in this armor as we speak. I don't think he'd fit in there. Even if he did, he'd never be able to get back out. Cut it out, you guys don't know how scary that guy can be.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know, I kind of feel that. I also played Ace Attorney during uni, and I spent a lot of time on it too.
This is a safe, isn't it? Safe? That word is ripe with intrigue. Okay, if you say so.
Looks like a code needs to be entered in this panel to open it.
Oh, are they gonna let me put in a code? A 7-digit number. I think I just might know what it is. Aha! Do you know what it is? I have a hunch. Oh, I know. You want to try my birthday? It's... Wait, when's Gumshoe's birthday? Let me know. I have a better idea. Here goes nothing. Nice! Bingo.
What number did you enter?
Whose birthday was that, pal? 77777777, the final ID card number on that record.
What?
The number of the mysterious executive officer who entered the room that day. You mean 77777777? That ID number? I think you're 1-7 shy this time. No, the one time I say it 8 times, he says it 6. This can only mean one thing. That's Chief Gant's ID number.
Say, anyone care to look inside?
I do. Is there any money in there? How much does he have stashed away?
Look, it's a
shard from a broken cup. This somehow looks familiar. Where have I seen this before?
There's something else in here too.
What's this? Looks like a piece of leather cloth.
This is a handprint, isn't it?
Hey, I saw someone wearing a shirt like that once. You think the Chief made up the design?
I don't think so.
Oh, well, it was just thought.
Is that it? This is all that was in the safe?
Apparently so. It's empty now. A piece of cloth with a handprint on it. And a broken shard from a cup. They look like pieces of evidence. Yeah, but unless you can prove they have something to do with this case, I'm afraid I can't just let you take them. After all, it's my neck on the line here. Great. Now I have to prove their relevancy to get them. How are these two items related to the SL-9 incident?
Come on, there's gotta be something we can show the detective.
Oh, do I have stuff to show you? Where is the vase? Detective Gumshoe, could you have another look at this jar? I remember when the three of us put that back together. Oh, those are the days. It's kind of early to be nostalgic.
Wasn't this jar a piece of evidence from that case?
That's right. One of the shards had an SL-9 incident sticker on it. Doesn't this ring any bells? You know, that fragment we just found. You mean this one that was in the safe?
Yeah, that one. That was in the safe.
It took him a minute. Now that you mention it, it's ringing a lot of bells. Let's see if it fits. Here, let me see that shard. I'll take a crack at this. Go ahead, pal. Show us what a rookie can do.
Mr. Wright, here's some glue.
If I could piece this together again, it'll prove Chief Gant was knowingly hiding evidence. Here goes. Oh, I have to rotate it. There we go. There. It fits like a charm. That, of course, means Chief Gant willingly and knowingly hid a piece of this jar in his safe. In other words, he concealed a piece of evidence from the SL-9 incident. But, hey guys, get a load of this! What is it? This piece you just attached. It's different from the others.
There's a reddish line on it.
A reddish line. That's blood. I don't get it. Why would Chief Gant hide this in his safe? Gee, I wonder. Can I present this? No. I want the cloth! Give me the cloth.
Wow, look at the size of Chief Gant's desk.
Speaking of that, when we were here earlier... Oh, it's you two. Chief Gant! He put that paper he was reading in his desk. I wonder what he was reading. This looks like a list of evidence. A list of evidence? In most cases, the list runs twice as long as this, though.
Hey, look at the case name.
Huh? SL-9 incident? I wonder what this is doing here. Hold on, detective. What did you just say? I said, I wonder what... No, about evidence lists. Normally they're twice as long? That's right, I guess there wasn't a lot of evidence. A half-sized list of evidence. The list of evidence. It seems too short. Most lists run twice as long. What would the other half of the list be doing here?
I knew it! The chief must be hiding something about that case.
It would appear so. Ha 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 ha! Do I... Okay, hang on. Present. Check. I wonder what this is. Looks like someone drew some kind of sketch here.
What is it? Did you find something?
I can't make it out. I'd better keep quiet about it for now.
Huh?
Huh? Oh, no, it's nothing.
Why are your eyes moving about like that, Mr. Wright?
I'd better not forget about this picture.
Yippee!
Okay, we keep looking.
Wow, look at the size of Chief Gant's desk.
We found this inside the drawer. A list of evidence from the SL-9 incident.
Mr. Edgeworth had the other half of that list.
What would this list be doing here? We'd better
look a little more into this list. Okay, I did. Window. You could see pretty far from 15 stories up. If you were to drop that suit of armor from here.
First, the chief wanted to use stained glass for this window.
Really? Why didn't he?
They say he changed his mind because he wouldn't be able to see the view.
Oh.
Stained glass or not, it's a huge window. It is definitely a big window.
This mark looks like some kind of flower.
Where it is, it's designed after the insignia on the prosecutor's badge.
Prosecutor's badge?
Yeah, like the one hanging from your collar.
What? They have badges too?
The design's supposed to portray the severity of the punishment system.
Now that you mention it, it does look all pointy and kind of painful.
But Mr. Edgeworth never wears a badge. That's because he's a sharp dresser. A badge like that wouldn't go too well with his outfit.
So sharp dressers don't need to wear badges.
I guess everyone just kind of lets it slide. I don't see how that's supposed to signify severe punishment.
Dang, Edgeworth. Okay. This was taken on the day 2 years ago.
The day Joe Dark ran out of the questioning room and tried to kill Emma. After receiving his award trophy, Mr. Marshall took a picture here, then went along with Chief Gant to question Dark. I bet he never knew he'd be dead just a few hours later. Gee, you think? These shelves are mostly empty. Lana must have cleaned them out when she transferred over to the prosecutor's office. There's a small picture frame on the left shelf.
Hey! This is when Lana and I went to that theme park.
Look at that giant window. Makes you want to crash through it and jump outside. This is the 15th floor. I know, I was just saying.
Saying what?
Ever since making Detective, I've always dreamed about doing something like that.
Note to self, Detective Gumshoe has a lot of dreams.
So long as he doesn't go crashing through that window when he gets fired.
Don't say that!
That's so mean. Okay, have I seen everything? Okay, so I need to give Gumshoe something that'll make him give me the cloth.
Oh, fingerprinting? Maybe?
Detective Gumshoe, I'd like you to have a look at this. Hey, I know what that is. So you want to take some fingerprints?
That's a great idea, Detective.
Alright, go to town. Sheesh. What are you doing? Why are you sticking out your hand like that? Go ahead, take my fingerprints.
It's not your fingerprints we want to take.
Huh? Come on, this isn't the time for jokes. We're talking about the cloth that we found in the safe. Oh, I knew that. The one with a handprint on it, right? Sheesh, where's your sense of humor?
Okay, Mr. Wright, let's check for prints. Sprinkle the powder on the cloth. Then, once they've been absorbed in the prints, blow the rest away.
What are you, my mom? I don't have to be told a million times. Alright, let's get this over with. Oh, I had to pick a finger. Nice. Okay. Aha! Emma! No. How could this be? What are Emma's fingerprints doing here?
Hey, you found a match? Whose fingerprints were they?
Huh? Oh, it seems the prints are too old. They aren't clear enough to get a match.
Oh, that's too bad. I thought they'd be Dark's prints.
Psst. Hey, you, over here. What's going on here? What are that kid's prints doing inside the chief's safe? Don't ask me. Let's just keep this information from Emma for now. Here, maybe you should hold on to this. Alright.
court record. Let me take a look at this. This is a handprint, right? Yeah, someone left behind an oil stain on the fabric. Whoever it was, they must have had a really oily hand. Mr. Wright, think about it scientifically. Huh? A more likely explanation is the person slipped and fell on a freshly waxed floor, getting wax all over their hand. Well, that would account for the amount of oil, I guess. I don't see what's so scientific about it, though. It happens, you know. I always slip on the floors at school after they're waxed. Okay. That desk on the other side of the room, was that your sister's? Yes, that's where I was waiting for Lana. On that day 2 years ago. Is anyone using it now? No, sir. This is entirely Chief Gant's office now. He practices a strict policy of preserving the crime scene. That's a strange reason to leave it there. He leaves it as a warning to everyone else. He wants us to always be alert. He told us so himself at our New Year's party. Of course, he was pretty intoxicated at the time. I see. So ever since Lana left, no one ever touches that desk? No one except Chief Gant. And the cleaning lady who's in here each morning. Still, 2 years have passed since that incident. There can't possibly be any clues remaining. Can I ask you something? Sure. You only came here to look around, right? Because it's one of the SL-9 crime scenes. I mean, that's your only reason for coming here, isn't it? Why do you ask? You don't think... Nah, you wouldn't be. No. No, there's no way. Never mind. Don't worry about it. Okay, now then, let's look around a bit more. Hey, hold on! Not so fast, buddy! Huh? What is it? When someone tells you don't worry about it, it's supposed to start bothering you, pal! You don't just let it go at that! Sorry, this guy's starting to get on my nerves. Okay, so what's bothering you? You two don't think Chief Gant might be a suspect, do you? What? He's right, Mr. Wright. What do we think of him? Chief Gant. So it's finally come to this. What do I think of him? Perhaps it's best I don't divulge my feelings. Yet. There you go, ignoring me again. Well, was I of any help? Of course. Thanks to your ID card, we were able to get some hard evidence. Now that's not very kind, is it? In other words, if it wasn't for his ID card, he would have been useless. Isn't that right, you in the coat? Eek! Chief Gant! We didn't think you'd be back so soon. Fortunately, I'm a man who believes in signs. As I was walking to my meeting, I happened to look out a window and saw a stray dog run right into a pole. Just then, I thought of a certain detective. Do you mean me, sir? Now then, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you all to leave. Yes, sir. Sorry. Oh, you in the coat. Me, sir? Drop off your ID on the way out. You won't be needing it anymore. But, sir... Now, get out. Yes, sir. We'll be on our way too, then. Wait. You. The one without the spiky hair. Don't go yet. Me, sir? I'd like a word with you. But, sir, I'm not a licensed scientific investigator yet. You with the spiky hair. You're free to go. Mr. Wright! What's he gonna do? Look, pal, if I told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. The chief's office is off limits. But no, you just had to go sneaking in there like that, didn't you? I thought you said you didn't care anymore if you were fired. Yeah, but if I knew it'd be like this, I never would have said it. Now that I've seen the evidence, Chief Gant was hiding in his office. I think I'm finally starting to get the picture. But why is she kept eerily silent about it all this time? Anyway, you listening to me? I'm gonna try to smooth things over with the chief again. Later, pal. After that, I heard from Emma. She said the police wanted to ask her some questions, so she'll be busy for the rest of the day. Ooh. detention center.
I see. So the chief asked Emma to come in for questioning.
It's no use thinking about it. Tomorrow's the final day in court. I'm committed to doing everything I can to defend you, which is why I'm here.
But I've already told you all I can.
What you've told me over these past couple of days is absolutely nothing. Not a single useful thing.
Really, I believe I did mention something quite important. Something I told you right at the beginning. I said that I was the one who stabbed Detective Goodman.
You know, I think I finally figured it out. I know who it is that's lurking behind your words.
Mia did a good job mentoring you. I'm rather jealous. It seems Edgeworth was right.
Edgeworth?
Once you're convinced you know something, no one can persuade you otherwise. Thick-headed is the term he used, I believe.
Now's my chance to get her to tell me the rest of the story. I have to admit, I was more than a little perplexed at first. You insisted you did it, yet there was no incriminating evidence. That's when it hit me. It's not that you're unwilling to tell the truth. It's that you're incapable of doing so because of a certain individual.
What an intriguing notion. A certain individual, you say? So you think I'm protecting this person?
Protecting? No, I think afraid of is more like it. If I'm not mistaken, the person in question may have persuaded you to silence.
For argument's sake, Mr. Wright, whom, may I ask, is this person you're speaking of? The one I'm supposedly so frightened of. What is this person's name?
Oh, well, he's right there. Well, Miss Skye?
Mr. Wright, you were addressing the chief prosecutor. Do not forget your place.
I take it she's still not ready to spill the beans.
My apologies. Could you please tell me a bit more about what you think you know? We were partners until 2 years ago. I respected him as a detective.
Assuming he is respectable, then tell me something. Why would he try to hide his crimes?
His crimes?
Both you and Edgeworth will be brought before a board of inquiry for what you did. Specifically, hiding and forging evidence.
Of course, these are serious offenses.
Why is it, though, that Chief Gant's name was never mentioned?
Chief Gant?
Edgeworth didn't know the truth behind the forgery. The only party who could have possibly tampered with the evidence was
me. I had access because I was second in command of that investigation.
Yes, you, but also one other, Damon Gant.
If you intend to accuse Chief Gant, you'll need more than just words. Show me proof that Chief Gant falsified evidence in that case.
Would it be this? I just found this in a safe in the chief's office. This jar piece and this piece of cloth. Do you know what these are? They're pieces of evidence from the SL-9 incident. The person concealing evidence was none other than Chief Gant himself. Now tell me, why are you taking all the blame for him?
Touché, Mr. Wright. It's as you surmised. I cannot disobey the chief's orders. Even if it means being found guilty for murder.
Why not?
Come now, Mr. Wright. You can't possibly expect me to be able to tell you that. 3 days ago, I had no choice but to cooperate.
In the murder of Detective Goodman?
Or perhaps I should say, follow orders. Yes, that's more accurate than cooperate. Although I can't tell you the details, I can say that I was given an order that day.
I need you to dispose of Bruce Goodman's body. You'll find it inside the trunk of Miles Edgeworth's car. Just as I suspected. Despite what everyone believes, you were not the one who murdered Detective Goodman.
Correct. I was trying to take the body out of Edgeworth's car. The trunk's lock was broken, and I discovered that murder weapon while inspecting the body.
The murder weapon? You mean Edgeworth's knife?
No. When I found the body, this was the knife stuck in it.
The knife from the SL-9 incident. Serial killer Joe Dark's knife.
I couldn't just leave that knife in him, so I took it out and stabbed him with another knife.
That would be Edgeworth's knife.
That's right. Even though he was already dead, my hands were shaking at the thought of stabbing him. That's why I ended up cutting my hand. And that's the reason for the bandage on your right hand. Yes, it seems I got blood on the victim's shoes as well. And then she saw me just as I plunged the knife in. Miss Starr, huh? Why did you need to hide Dark's knife so badly? It took a lot of work to finally close the Dark case 2 years ago. It was over with. I didn't ever want it to be opened again. My intent was to prevent that by whatever means possible.
So you hid Dark's knife?
The weapon used to stab the detective was evidence in the Joe Dark case. If word got out, which it would, the reporters would have a field day with that.
So you wrapped the knife in your scarf and hid it? In Edgeworth's exhaust pipe?
Right. Then I called my sister to tell her what happened and to ask her to hide the knife that was inside my muffler.
You asked Emma?
I didn't want anyone on the force to know about this.
That would explain why Emma is so confident.
About Lana's innocence. Speaking of phone calls, I had a bad feeling about one of them that day.
A bad feeling?
The truth is, after I received those orders from Chief Gant, the first thing I did was make a phone call. A phone call to Patrolman Jake Marshall.
To Marshall? Why on earth would you call him?
The lead investigator for the SL-9 incident had been murdered. I wanted that fact to be kept hidden, and I needed help. He was the only other person I could trust. Or at least, I thought I could trust him at the time. However, it seemed that after I spoke to him, he went off on an escapade of his own.
Oh, you mean...
Not wanting the case to die, he decided to take things into his own hands.
He disguised himself as Detective Goodman and tried to steal the evidence.
He had already stolen the ID card, but it seemed he still hadn't made up his mind to break into the evidence room. After my phone call, any remaining doubts he had must have disappeared.
So your phone call caused the incident in the evidence room?
I'm afraid that's all I can tell you. But Lana! You've earned my respect, Mr. Wright, both as a defense attorney and an investigator. Now please, don't pursue this any further in court tomorrow.
Tomorrow's trial. There's only one way to drive off Lana's demons. I've got to get to the bottom of everything. She's like, please don't, and he's like, but what if? Detective Goodman's real murderer. And what went down in the chief's office 2 years ago? Okay, yeah, I was way too ambitious. We're not going to be able to finish this today. I'm going to remember to save, though. Alright, I think we'll end it here for today. Let's see. We're gonna go raid... Yeah, thank you guys for coming. Let's go raid Fallen Hero Cather. They're playing Minecraft, so if you want to stick around for that, awesome. And if not, thank you guys so much for coming. And hopefully I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye!